take the case of the press. I told you the press was disgraceful. I happen to know, when I came back I was there 36, 37, came back the end of 37. I happen to know a Colonel Riley, R-A-I-L-E-Y, H-H, who happened to be the closest friend of Adolf, A.H. Sulzberger, Arthur Hayes Sulzberger, who had married Cox's daughter and was owner or editor or owner or main owner of the Times. And we were talking about this, and I was telling him about what was happening in Spain. He said, look, he said, I want you to talk to Sulzberger. So he took me to, what, Lotus Club? Would that be one of the biggest clubs in New York City? One of the real swanky places, one of the best for the, you know. Took me to the Lotus Club to dinner that is Sulzberger took, and he listened to me. And he said, well, you know, he says, I'm not a journalist, I'm a silk merchant, said Mr. Sulzberger. He said, I have given orders. I want both sides covered equally. You see? And then when you took up the paper, you would find the news from Spain with a headline. On one side, there would be a story with the name of Carney, William Carney, with the Franco troops. On the other side, Herbert L. Matthews with the Loyalist side. Now, let me give you an actual episode of what happened. On one side, Carney wrote a story saying the Arganda Bridge was captured by Franco today. This is the last avenue that the Loyalists have, that Madrid has, of getting food, supplies, medicines, and ammunitions, and meaning it's the end of the war. On the next side, there is this eyewitness account. Mr. Matthews, I went with him, at the risk of his life, because they were shooting in the neighborhood, that's true. We went to the Arganda Bridge, and just to say that the story is not true, we crossed the bridge to the other side. The trucks were coming in from Barcelona. It's true that they were close by. We could hear machine gun fire. That's close. But the avenue was open. You see it all like that. Now, Mr. Sulzberger, not being an editor, his idea of fairness was to have a story saying the Arganda Bridge, see, and an eyewitness account saying it ain't so, balancing each other. That gives a fair play to both. You can't equate a total falsehood with an eyewitness account of a truthful event, can you? But that's, he told the people. Now, it is true that, who was it, Talese? Who wrote this book, The Power and the...
Gay Talese.
Huh?
Gay Talese.
That's
Gay
right.
Talese, yeah.
He wrote this book, in which it's the first time, although we knew it, these were known as the fascist phalanx in the bullpen. There were 4 assistant or 5 assistant editors. McCall was one of them. 2 E.L. James. And they were, well, I'm not going to bring any religious men. I don't want to have any religious disputes about it.
But they were Catholic, and the Catholic establishment in the United States had supported Franco.
There was no question about it. That Franco claimed to be running a Christian crusade against godless communism. That is what he was running, the crusade, you see. And that he was no doubt backed by the Vatican. The Vatican afterwards, Pius XII, blessed the Italian troops that came back, you know. Well, anyway, this fascist phalanx, he says plainly that they were Catholics who slanted the news from their religious viewpoint. Because there were 700 people sent from Russia, they said there was a Russian army there. Now, no one has ever seen one Russian soldier. By soldier, I do not mean an aviator or a mechanic in the aviation unit or a member of the tank corps. I mean an infantryman. There was not one Russian soldier or infantryman. There were, if not 200,000, there were troops. I myself saw rounded up in a wire enclosure, although there was no reason for keeping him prisoner. They loved us. 1,200 Italians who came over to our side when the first 4 divisions ran away at the battle called the Battle of Guadalajara. That's another misnomer. It was the Battle of Brihuega, which was 10 or 15 miles. They tried to get to Guadalajara. They never got there. I was in Guadalajara waiting for them. They never got there. At Brihuega, they were stopped. They were stopped by whom? By the Italian working people of Madrid under a man named Carlos, General Carlos. His real name was Vittorio Vidali. He was a Trieste boy. He went and organized all the Italian working men in Madrid the day that Franco started the rebellion. And when he heard that there were Italian troops there, he went out with a megaphone. And there were 4 divisions trying to get to Guadalajara and surround Madrid. And he had, "Fratelli Italiani, we are your brothers. What are you fighting for? You see, we're fighting for the welfare of all the people and all this. And you are fighting for Mussolini, who said you were being sent to Ethiopia on police duty." Well, it opened their eyes. They didn't even know they were in Spain, some of the first ones who landed there. They were getting 40 liras a day more, though. He did pay them more when he sent them abroad.
So you say the press was...
And the press, look, I mean, in that situation, when the Italian troops ran away, and we interviewed 1,200, we arrived, we talked to the Italians who said we're glad that it's over for us. We come back, 50 miles perhaps, or whatever it was, to Madrid, and there is the censor with a telegram addressed to Matthews of the Times saying, "Why do you say there are Italian troops in Spain? Carney says there aren't any." Carney, on the other side, had the Italian troops, sent a telegram that there were no Italian troops there, and Matthews, who with me were interviewing the Italian prisoners, who had seen these 40,000 run away when Vidali talked Italian to them, get a telegram like this, signed E.L. James, and I expose things like this, and the Times gives an orders never to mention my name or review my books because I tell the facts about how dirty and crooked they were in the Spanish War. It was James's fault. As I say, Mr. Sulzberger didn't even know what was happening. I mean, if anybody I ever hated in the newspaper business, I think I hated James a whole lot more than I would hate an out-and-out known crook like, say, William Randolph Hearst, who made a deal with Hitler for $400,000 for his news service.